Have you read a story in the Draoithe Saga and come away with a classic case of immersion after effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Draoithe Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
Welcome to the deep dive. We're plunging into some really fascinating source material today, pulling out the most surprising bits of knowledge. And today, well, we're stepping into a world quite unlike any we've looked at before. It's a reality where, myths are real and love forms these actual literal bonds. Our sources for this dive come from Ophelia Key's series, Eternal Love. Now, it is fiction, but honestly, the insights from the world building, the characters, they're pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. So our mission for you today is really to navigate this incredibly rich universe. We want to unravel the complex magic systems, get to know the powerful, often immortal people living there, and ultimately pull out those core truths, the surprising facts, and really understand the why behind their society, their relationships too, which are key.
Yeah, get ready. We're talking about a reality where you've got a dragon who's also, believe it or not, a corporate lawyer, and where a name like Earthflower isn't just a nickname. It's this whole destiny stretching across lifetimes. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the dream. That's the big picture setting for the Draoithe Saga. It's described as a mixed paranormal romance, magical realism, urban fantasy. It's a place where, as the source puts it, myths blend and fairy tales walk among the strange and wonderful. It really creates this unique, immersive feel.
And the main goal for everyone in Draoithe, it's pretty compelling. They're trying to help restore balance against this ancient kind of disruptive magic.
Yeah.
But it's not just some huge abstract thing. It seems like the fight happened through relationships, often finding a life mate,
Right.
rekindling past magic in the present.
Right, and geographically, the main spot is, well, it's basically Tyler, Texas, but a magically altered version. It sits within this bigger realm called Leendale, and the time reference is year 016X. It's not just a date, it feels like it signifies this constant overlap of ancient history and modern life that shapes everything.
And we should probably define Valkyrie in this context, because it's not the literary idea you might expect. Here, a Valkyrie is a specific role, a specific being. The chronicle history, big dramatic history, and they're absolutely pivotal to a dragon's life. It really personalizes the myth. Okay, so we've got the setting down. Let's meet some key players, starting with Chloe Zenderfell. Everyone calls her Flower. She is identified as an earth elemental, meaning she has this inherent control over living things, plants, the natural world. Physically, she's petite, 5'2", green eyes, and apparently smells like honeysuckle. Makes sense, right? And her job, head florist, very fitting.
And her fated mate is Ember. Halvor Lighting is his full name. He's quite the character. A taciturn dragon knight, but also a corporate lawyer for Draoithe. And he's ancient, 929 years old. He's been a dragon for 629 of those years. Immensely old, physically imposing, too, 9'5", and a scent, rum and coke. It's quite a combination.
Their first meeting is pure fate, mixing past and present in this incredible way. See, Ember was a knight back at a place called Caxmead. Died defending his castle centuries ago. So when he meets Chloe, he's absolutely convinced she's the reincarnation of his lost love, Earthflower. She even speaks Gaelic to him, which is what he called her way back then. It's intense, instantly grounds their connection in history.
Yeah, and what's really insightful is Ember's reaction. He's internally struggling, right?
Yep.
Trying to square these centuries-old visions with this woman standing in front of him. He's completely disoriented. So to explain how he knows her true name, he comes up with this quick lie. It says he has second sight. It shows you how strategic he is, even when he's emotionally reeling, protecting his idea of their fated bond.
Okay, so that sets the stage for them. Now, let's get into what makes a dragon like Ember tick. Their physiology, their powers. Yeah, it's fascinating. Ember, for example, he's described as an invincible immortal and a first-order shifter. That means he can just become a dragon. Directly. No trigger needed, unlike some other shifters. But here's a kicker.
Yeah.
Dragons can actually die. They come back at dawn, but, and this is a big but, they risk losing recent memories to this place called the Netherworld. Adds real stakes to their immortality, doesn't it?
It really does. And central to this is the dragon-Valkyrie bond. It starts with the dragon's bite, which is painful, but fundamentally changes the mate. It allows them to drink from the dragon daily to sort of tap into its power. And a dragon can only grant its magic and Valkyrie wings once in its entire long life. So it's a huge final commitment.
Wow, okay. Once ever. That's significant.
Immensely, it shows how important finding that specific Valkyrie is. Their destinies are tied forever.
And that leads to something called the link, which is this powerful, irreversible soul connection. It forms during intercourse. Through it, they feel each other's emotions, desires, even pain. And it means Ember can always find Chloe. Always. Intimacy becomes literal soul merging.
So think about what that means for Ember. This dragon known for being stoic, emotionless.
Right.
Suddenly, he's forced to confront his own feelings through this link. It must be deeply unsettling for him, someone used to keeping everything locked down. It's not just plot, it's this really interesting exploration of vulnerability as strength, even for an immortal. And yeah, the sources say it definitely gives him pause, essentially.
And speaking of dragons, another surprising thing, their wealth. They hoard, literally, huge amounts of money for their kings and Valkyries as part of their social structure. Ember's personal hoard, get this, is nearly $750 million US. Billion. With a B. That's not just pocket change. It reflects ancient power.
It really does. Now, let's pivot slightly to elemental magic, because that's Chloe's whole deal. As an earth elemental, she has sisters. Spark wields fire, ice controls water, and cloud commands wind. They're called elemental spirit wielders. And interestingly, the sources say they're always born in sets of 4, like it's a predestined magical balance thing.
And Chloe has this quirk. When her earth energy gets overloaded, she sort of leaks magic. Plants can just spontaneously sprout. There's this memorable scene where roses just grow out of Ember's nightstand after they bond. It's a charming physical sign of her overflowing power.
Right. Now, there's a historical aspect mentioned in the sources that's quite significant. It says that old elementals used what are termed sex slaves to combine Cedra, a specific magic, with their own elemental power. Apparently, this was the method used to give sentience to stone, and that, remarkably, is how the first gargoyles were created. It's a dark piece of history showing how even magical advancements had a serious cost.
Wow, okay, that is dark. But it leads to these sentinel gargoyles, which sound incredible. You need stone, obviously, and a life spear, which comes from a destroyed dragon. Once made, they're super powerful. They absorb magic, regenerate using sunlight or starlight, makes Draoithe almost impossible to attack successfully. They're like living defenses forged for magic and sacrifice.
And there's also this place called the Netherworld. It's described as this black and purple realm. Elemental magic just doesn't work there at all. Plus, dragons who go there risk serious memory loss. It highlights that even for these ancient, powerful beings, there are real dangers and limits to their power.
Okay, changing gears a bit. Let's talk about Luke Mendez. He's the Dire Wolf King, leads the Druid pack.
Yeah.
And his leadership style is really different. He's all about camaraderie, equality, not the usual rigid hierarchy you might expect from a king. It's a core philosophy for him.
Yeah, and Draoithe itself is presented as embodying that vision, Luke's vision of an immortal Camelot, basically. The architecture is luxurious, but integrates nature seamlessly. And get this, the conference room has 100 seats, but apparently no obvious head of the table. The design itself reflects that equality focus.
That's fascinating. And central to how Draoithe works is this balance theory. Luke's mate, Eli Miller, who's an alpha tiger shifter, is believed to act like a magnet. He attracts individuals, attracts fated mates to the pack, and that's supposedly the core mechanism for restoring magical balance in their world. So Eli's presence is fundamental.
And a really big consequence of Luke's leadership, the change in status for dragons. They used to be basically collared servants under an old rider system, very restrictive now. They're free members of the pack. Their oaths of fealty, which used to be binding, are now just a formal courtesy needed to complete their shifter magic. That says a lot about liberation and shifting power dynamics. Okay, but things aren't all peaceful. The stakes get high pretty quickly, especially for Spark, Chloe's fire elemental sister. She's being followed, accused of arson falsely. And the critical thing here is that vulnerability. The sister's magic is linked. If one dies, the other's magic just fails. So Spark's danger threatens them all.
And Luke's reaction shows the pack's commitment, right? He doesn't hesitate. Authorizes a 6-person extraction team, including Ember, to go get her. It's more than just a rescue. It really shows how dedicated they are to protecting their own, no matter what.
Exactly. And it leads to this intense confrontation right at Chloe's flower shop. Spark is cornered by a griffin shifter, other attackers, and suddenly you have this clash of powers, electricity, phoenix fire, dragon abilities. It's a real display of the diverse supernatural forces at play.
And then this happens. Ember actually dies. He takes an electric attack meant for Luke, but then miraculously regenerates instantly. As a gray dragon specifically, it's a shocking display of their immortality and healing, but also shows the danger is very real.
Right. And adding another layer, there were 2 other dragons there, red dragons, Heath Blair called Blue, and Craig Selkirk called Torch. They were also trying to protect Spark, so it wasn't just one simple fight. It hints at wider alliances, maybe other factions involved. Danger can come from anywhere, but so can help, apparently.
That whole ordeal definitely pushes Chloe and Ember closer. She embraces her elemental side, actually rides Ember symbolically and literally merging their souls. And that's when she claims her Valkyrie wings from him. You even see a physical sign of the bond deepening. These bright green rings appear around Ember's eyes.
And functionally, this is huge for Chloe. She gains immense power because she can now use Ember as this unlimited battery. He becomes the source of her magic, amplifying her abilities massively.
And her life changes professionally too. She takes on a new role as Draoithe's main florist and oversees the greenhouses. She develops this role with Ember, so her passion for plants gets woven right into her new life. Shows how she's adapting, finding her place.
And there are other fascinating relationships in the pack too, right? Wyker is mentioned. He's a Vamphthur, a hybrid vampire and panther shifter, a unique mix of powers. Then there's Smoke, whose mate is a Nephilim, leading to this patchwork quilt. Soul Fusion sounds like a blend of divine and mortal essence. And Javier's mate, Isabel, is a phoenix. She's an artist and captures their true forms beautifully in paintings. It speaks to the creativity and deep bonds within the pack.
We also see Chloe and Ember's intimate relationship evolving. Their physical connection isn't just physical, it's a conduit for magic, strengthening that soul link. It even gets mentioned playfully that Ember finds a new favorite position, showing his emotional connection is growing, he's becoming more expressive, more human in a way.
Looking ahead, Drake has plans. Big plans. They want to create 28 of those powerful sentinel gargoyles for defense, really fortify the place. And they're exploring some interesting new ventures too. Natural cannabis cultivation, psychedelic mushroom production, apparently for guests. It shows they're innovative, self-sustaining, maybe even a bit progressive in their economy.
And the biggest change, it's Ember. He's not that closed-off, taciturn dragon anymore. He's seen laughing, smiling, he embraces domestic life. But he also fights fiercely for Chloe, for their home. It feels like he's finally found true freedom, his true place. It's quite the transformation.
So wrapping this up, from ancient knights reborn as, dragon lawyers, to elemental magic literally fueled by love, this deep dive into eternal love really shows a rich world, profound connections, incredible power, and this whole society trying to find a new kind of balance. We've seen how history, destiny, abilities, they all weave together to shape this magical reality. Lots of surprising twists on old ideas.
Yeah, and hopefully you've gained a really solid understanding of this complex universe now. Full of those surprising details, those intricate insights that, go way beyond just a plot summary. This dive really highlighted how every relationship, every choice ripples across their world. That interconnectedness of fate and magic is key.
And thinking about the Draoithe pack and their constant pursuit of balance, it leaves us with a question for you, the learner. In a world where every action, every bond, maybe even every feeling tips the scales of magical equilibrium, what does balance actually look like when it's finally achieved? And maybe more importantly, how could it possibly be maintained against forces always trying to mess it up? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep digging, keep exploring, and keep being well informed.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support. For more, visit opheliakey.com. Welcome to the dream. Sincerely. Okay.